What's going on, guys? This is Kyle Layton for TPM's Poll Tracker, and today we're going to get in the crosstabs of President Obama's proposal to extend some of the Bush tax cuts. We've now reached the part of the campaign where almost every vote and every piece of legislation in Washington is really for partisan advantage when it comes to November. And that's certainly the case when it comes to President Obama's proposal to extend the Bush tax cuts on the first $250,000 of income for Americans. The upside for the president is the idea is actually very popular, and it puts his opponents in a very tight spot. When the idea was put forward last year, polling showed that the extension of cuts under the $250,000 threshold was popular. Eventually, Congress extended all of the cuts for a year, pushing the decision off to the presidential election. Well, it's pretty intuitive to see why the bottom 98% are willing to tax the top 2% a little bit more. It also exposes why President Obama is so keen to push this idea. While Republicans deride the tactic as class warfare, a lot of Americans actually probably agree with the sentiment by the numbers and are willing to go with it. A February ABC News Washington Post poll showed that an enormous majority, 68%, identified the tax system as favoring the wealthy, while 19% said it treats everyone equally and 9% said it favored the middle class. An April poll from Gallup showed much the same thing, only in a different way. The wealthy were being perceived as being taxed too little, while the middle class is being perceived as being taxed either too much or fairly. So that makes the idea of taxing the rich pretty ripe. But that doesn't mean that economic conservatives are without ammunition. CBS New York Times polls showed that in 2010, when the tax cuts were being debated before the congressional midterms, the idea actually became less popular over the course of the election season as the two sides debated. But of course, in 2010, there was no presidential election with a spokesperson on either side of the issue. And while Republicans decry this as class warfare, by the numbers, it's actually just good political warfare for Democrats. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Kyle Layton for TPM's Poll Tracker, and we'll see you next week.